Oh, it's wonderful. I mean, the Gregorian's legacy is really inspiring, right? Going all the way back to Saint Ignatius. And so I think of him in many ways as a trailblazer, right? And effectively getting the gospel message out there. And so to be here and trying to explore other ways to evangelize using modern technology. And I like to think that Ignatius would be smiling and happy in heaven. Most large language models and the AI labs behind them are working towards something called AGI, Artificial General Intelligence, which in many ways is a noble goal. I think that's going to bring about immense good in the world, hopefully. But at Magisterium AI and at Longbeard, specifically in building Catholic AI, our objective is very different. What we're working towards is greater and greater fidelity to the Magisterium. And so the AI system that we built, Magisterium AI and its sister product, Vulgate, are all about trying to find ways to leverage AI to be effectively more and more faithful. I think, one thing it's been great about church and church scholarship throughout the years is the importance of this great tradition of scholarship, right? Which is ensuring that we're building on the past, and when we're communicating new ideas, that we're always grounding everything we're saying in these age-old ideas, right? I think in many ways today, the approach to Catholic AI is to ensure that when a user goes and asks a question and the AI is generating its response, that everything the AI is saying is grounded, right, in the source truth in those original documents. And so, there are apps like Perplexity AI, which have been built, which are trying to do that as well. Again, the people behind it came out of the academic space. But I think that the Catholic Church needs a focused effort. There's church doctrine goes back a long way. There's a lot to digitize and there's a lot to offer. And I think if the AI is going to be effective, it has to really try and capture as much of that as it possibly can. Especially what we've been finding with Catholic AI is the list of possible questions people ask, which we call the long tail, is quite extraordinary. It's very difficult to predict what people are going to ask. And so the more knowledge that we digitize, the more capable we are of offering good answers to people. When we first, conceived of Magisterium AI, we thought it would just be a good way to kind of communicate that which has been said by the church, particularly on the areas of, faith and morals. And, when we first started, that's what we saw a lot of, just clarifying very, very kind of conventional questions on church teaching. What is the Trinity? What is the church's stance on abortion? But as it continued to, the product continued to spread throughout the world, we started seeing a lot more questions of people saying, here's what's going on in my life. What would the church say to me? Now, when this first started happening, it freaked us out because this was not what Magisterium was made to do. But we acknowledged that there are going to be people out there who are going to be bringing these questions, whether they be to us or to Google. So the question is, can we effectively answer those questions better than an alternative? And to effectively do that, we realized that we had to significantly expand the amount of content we were digitizing, the speed at which we were doing it, and look for good examples of generalization of church teaching. And what we found is that the popes have the greatest legacy of that through their homilies, through their general audiences. And so as we digitize more and more of this knowledge and give examples to the AI as to how to appropriately generalize, from the Bible, from magisterial teaching to the everyday life, we found the AI became better and better at that. This is an area that we have to still continue to improve. It's an area that we're trying to keep very focused guardrails on. We want to recognize the limits of the technology. But again, we've got lots of testimonials from people saying how those answers have actually helped them start a journey, some of them leading to the decision to become a Catholic. I think much like in the past, the church in many ways has been very prophetic. When we think of this equals like Rerum Novarum and things, the church has seen these changes that are happening and recognized the implications, especially like in the area of industrial revolution, is going to have on humanity. And because they were able to see ahead and understand the implications, they were in some ways able to help prepare civilization for those changes. And I think today we're in another moment, Rerum Novarum moment, I would say even more significant. I think the AI and robotics is going to have massive implications on the job market. It's going to have massive implications on everyone's day-to-day lives, the likes of which it's very difficult to even imagine. When these changes start happening, a lot of people's jobs may potentially be displaced. I think a lot of people will be wondering, what is my value? What do I have to give if AI and robots are doing everything? And this could trigger something of an existential crisis. And when that crisis ensues, we want to make sure that people know that the church is willing, to share that which it has, and hopefully it can provide good answers and start people on a path where they can come to see that there's more to life and just punching in and punching out somewhere. So I think this Pope is going to start to see over the next 4 years, these technologies are going to start to significantly influence society, and he has to be in a position to be able to speak to people and remind them of their inherent dignity, tell them to not be afraid, in the famous words of John Paul II, and to ensure that the right kind of guidance is there for the bishops and the priests, and so they know how to adapt and to address these pastoral needs. Well, I mean, AI is not going anywhere, right? I think at this point, the changes that I'd spoken about are inevitable, and so it's important to accept that. The second thing is to recognize that there's going to be a great need in the world, and that the church has to rise to the occasion and try to address that need. And I think specifically, there's a lot of opportunities in AI, in the development of Catholic AI that can meet those needs. We always have to be careful that, this church very much is a sacramental church. It's a very embodied church. And so these AI, Catholic AI have to be seen as tools meant to enhance humanity, right? They shouldn't be a distraction from it. And so I think if we're building this technology the right way, and we're always looking for opportunities to direct people, to that sacramental experience, to the priests, to those spiritual communities, and I think we've effectively done our job. And so what I'm hoping is people will see the opportunities to meet people where they're at, and at the same time, hopefully, work with us in exploring ways to ensure that we're off-ramping people to communities and to spiritual homes where they'll be nurtured.